Hi guys, this is Matt Pope from the Pope's Perspective. Now, it has come upon us now that we are entering Islamophobia Awareness Month. So, buckle up. I'd like to talk about this because Islamophobia consists of two words, Islam and phobia. So I'll just talk about them for a minute. Islam. I keep hearing people saying that Islam means peace. Now this is a fabricated lie. It was created by George W. Bush, of all people, straight after 9/11. He said Islam is a religion of peace. This has never been stated before in all of history. So, yeah. As we know, George W. Bush is not, or was not, a scholar in Islam. So, Islam meaning peace. Now, Arabic is the same sort of language as Hebrew. Yeah, the early stages of it was based on tricontinental roots. So you would have three letters which form the word. You've heard us all, some people say kafir in regards to disbeliever. If you've heard me say it in my videos, I usually use the word kufar. But they're spelled differently. But those three letters, KFR, is what makes the word. That's why there are variations of kafir, kufar. It's the same with Islam. SLM is Islam, and it's the same Arabic roots as the word Muslim. So this is another thing. If Islam, the word, meant peace, then Muslim would mean the peaceful, or the peace people, or it's illogical. What the word actually means, it derives from the word submission. So Islam is submission to Allah, submission to the Quran, submission to Muhammad. So Islam means submission, and Muslim means one who has submitted. Now this in revolutionary stuff I'm telling you, this is, every single Muslim knows this. They know that Muslim means one who submits to Allah, one that submits to the Quran. So we've now got that, and phobia. So phobia is another word that I get really, really done in by, because so many people say that it's an irrational fear, which obviously I don't think fear of Islam is an irrational fear. But then some people tell me that phobia is an intense fear. So it's got those two different varied understandings of it. Now to me, I would say it is very circumstantial. You take something like a fear of spiders, we all know this, arachnophobia. So if you're in England and you've got arachnophobia, I'd probably say that's a very irrational fear. There are no spiders here that can harm you. But if you're in the rainforest or Australia and you've got a fear of spiders, I would probably say that's quite logical, considering some of them can hospitalise you or even kill you. So I would say that a phobia was very circumstantial as to whether it was rational or irrational. So I'm going to look at phobia as being an intense fear. So basically, Islamophobia is an intense fear of those who submit to Islam. I think that's extremely logical, to be honest. I really do, because Islam teaches to kill the disbeliever wherever you find them. That's repeated quite often within the Quran. Most famously, the verse of the sword, Quran 9:5, which isn't just known as the verse of the sword to disbelievers. It's actually known as the verse of the sword to Muslims as well. So Islam teaches to kill us. Islam teaches to persecute us. Islam teaches that Muslims are better than us. So how is it an irrational fear to fear something that actually commands our slaughter, our annihilation? To me, that's not illogical. Now, Islamophobia used in mainstream isn't actually used in regards to Islam at all. Islam is never mentioned when it comes to Islamophobia. It's always Muslims, the Muslim people. Oh, you've got a phobia against these people. Now, it's logical. Nobody's got a phobia against a certain group of people, especially ones as weak as Muslims. So the fact that they claim that we're afraid of Muslims is very, very strange, disingenuous. But Islamophobia awareness. So we're now talking about the protection of Islamic texts. This was actually discussed in Parliament. I mean, our country is becoming a complete shithole. Taxes are crippling everyone. The state of every single city is, they're dirty, they're run down, they're full of foreigners. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but we want to keep our own culture. We don't want to walk down our city centres and see Arabic writing across shops and Palestine flags everywhere and shit like that. We don't want to see it. It's Britain. You wouldn't want to see British flags and everything in your Muslim culture. So, but to say this is now classed as Islamophobic. To even oppose mass immigration is classed as Islamophobic. Now, Quran 4, 100 to 101 says that if it advises that Muslims emigrate to disbelieving lands. Now, of course, this makes perfect sense because Islam is about forcing the religion on other people. If you're just surrounded by other Muslims, you can't really force your religion on other people. So that Muslims are taught within the Quran and within the Hadith to emigrate to other countries. Muhammad marched his army for great distances, almost up to where Israel was to fight the Christians and the Byzantine army. So in Islam, emigration is promoted. Now, Quran 4, 100 to 101 says that a Muslim can shorten their prayer in a non-Muslim country if they fear that the disbeliever will attack them. So just that in itself instills to Muslims that we are some sort of enemy. But then the following verse says, and it ends with, the disbelievers are forever an open enemy, which means that the disbelievers will always be the enemy to Muslims. And Muslims are taught this. This is their God speaking. So is it irrational to have a fear of this or a fear of it corrupting our society? Not at all. I'm an Islamophobe, I wear that with pride. But I reckon that we should start a hashtag, we should start using the phrase kufr phobia or disbeliever phobia, or attach any word representing us to phobia, because the Quran is over half of it is about us. Half of it is about the way that disbelievers should be treated. So thank you ever so much, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. And honestly, the Quran is not a big book. Go to thequran.com. You can read it. You can skip through quite a bit of it. Most of it's about like plagiarised versions of Judeo-Christian sort of prophets, but they were very, very wrong with stuff. So you can skip through all that, but most of the Quran is about how disbelievers should be treated. It's worth a read. Personally, I go for Mushin Khan's translation, the Noble Quran. he's the best translator. He's the one that translated all of Al-Bukhari hadiths, all 9 volumes into English. So read it and you'll see for yourself if you haven't read it already. Thank you ever so much for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.